Let's look at how do we compare and order decimals. Before we get to what are the 3 strategies for us to compare, we actually first have to know what the heck are these symbols over here on the left-hand side. These are called inequality signs. So we're going to write that up here at the top because we'll refer back to these a little later this year. So when you hear that word inequality, these are the signs that we are talking about. So for today, we're going to talk about 2 of them because we all know what this one is. Later on in the year, we'll add 2 more to it. So let's start with these 2. You know them from elementary school. Sometimes your teachers would draw little teeth in them, call them the alligators. And remember, those alligators are eating the bigger number. Alligators are great, but we're going to learn what do we actually call these signs. So this alligator right here, this is our less than sign. And I always remember it because if I turn my paper a little bit, it kind of looks like the L right there, our less than sign. This is our greater than sign. And then this last one, this is our equal to. So when we compare and order our decimals today, these are the 3 signs that we're going to be using: less than, greater than, equal to. Now, there are 3 strategies that we're going to use in order to compare our decimals, in order to compare our numbers. All 3 strategies work great, so you have some freedom here on which one works best for you. Which one would you like to use? So the first one is you can always draw a number line and then place the 2 numbers that you are comparing on that number line to see which one is greater than the other. This is a great option. We just don't always have all the room to draw a number line. So here is the strategy that I like to use the most. And simply all you have to do is line up your decimals. And we'll do some examples in just a second. But when we line up those decimals, not every single number has the same amount of digits in that number. So if you have any holes, any blank spots, all you got to do is add zeros to fill in the holes. I always spell zeros wrong. There we go. And then our last strategy we can use, it's one of my favorite ways to think. You think like it's money. We all love cash money. And money is an easy way for our brain to think. Most of us have a really good time understanding what's a greater amount of money and what's a less amount of money. So let's do some examples here with those 3 strategies. So let's start with that number line. My pterodactyl is going to zoom out. We're going to hope it doesn't have a mind of its own. Keep going. There it goes. Okay, so let's start with the number line. Let's say I'm comparing the 2 numbers 3/8 and 5/6. Okay, I have those 2 numbers. I'm trying to figure out which one has more. So if I draw a number line, since neither of them have a whole number, I know they have to be somewhere in between 0 and 1. I'm going to put 1/2 here in the middle. Okay, so with that 3/8, I know that half of 8 would be 4. And since 3 is less than 4, I know it has to be a little less than 1/2. So I'm just going to make a best guess and put 3/8 right there. But for 5/6, that's almost 1 whole because 5 is only 1 less than 6. So I know 5/6 has to go all the way over here. So by placing them on a number line, I can see that since 5/6 is to the left of 3/8, that 5/6 is bigger. So remember that alligator, it eats the bigger number. So it's going to point towards the 5/6, but we read it as just like a sentence from left to right. 3/8 is less than 5/6. Okay, let's talk about strategy number 2 with lining up the decimals. So let's say I have 3 numbers. I'm going to use the numbers. Let's use the numbers 412 thousandths. Let's use the number and 53 hundredths. And let's use the number 499 thousandths. So our strategy is to line up the decimals. So I'm just going to go from left to right. line up these decimals. So there's 412 thousandths. In lining up that decimal, there is 53 hundredths. One more time, lining up that decimal, 499 thousandths. So what I should be able to do, if I've done it correctly, is I could be able to draw a line in between each of those numbers. Now, that gets a little messy. You don't have to do that every time, but I'm just going to do that on our example here. Okay, so when I look in that ones positions, let's say I wanted to put these numbers in order from greatest to least. So when I look in that ones positions, all of them have a 0, so the ones don't really help me. But when I look in the tenths position, I see a 4, a 5, and a 4. Since I'm putting them in order from greatest to least, I know that 5 is the bigger of the 3 digits. So that means that and 53 hundredths is my biggest number. So that takes care of the 5. But 4 is the same. So then I'm going to go look at the hundredths place. In the hundredths place, I see a 1 and a 9. Well, 9 is greater than 1, which means my next biggest number is and 499 thousandths. So then my smallest number is and 412 thousandths. And then our last way, we said we can think of it like money. Everyone loves to have that cash money. So let's say this time that we had the decimals 3 and 89 hundredths. Uh-oh, didn't try all the way. Let's try again. Okay, we have the decimal 3 and 89 hundredths. We have the decimal 3 and 84 hundredths. And we have the decimal 3 and 87 hundredths. Man, if I put some dollar signs in front of those, and now I can think about it as $3.89, $3.84, $3.87. If I wanted to put these in order from least to greatest, all I have to do is ask myself, what's the least amount of money up there? That's going to be the $3.84. The next least amount of money would be $3.87. And last but not least, $3.89.